right, so tonight I've been learning a little bit more with the 6502 computer breadboard kit that Ben has. He came out with another video, and the video didn't really go over hardware. It more or less went over assembly code, how to write assembly, and what programs there are for it. I had already been writing in assembly code for the previous lessons that he had with his tutorial videos. More or less, he wrote in Python, but I really wanted to learn machine language or assembly because that's what I'm going to be writing with for the most part when interacting with this thing. So I guess I jumped ahead of the class and started delving into the deep stuff a little too early. So he did teach a few things that I wasn't already aware of, and he got this to the point where you could actually have two LEDs shifting to the right, but in reality, it appeared to shift to the left, and I had the same problem. Apparently, both he and I are LEDs are they're mapped directly to the chip in the opposite direction that you would think that the wires should be in when you're visually looking from this direction. Not a big deal, but I went ahead and expanded upon the program that he had, and I was able to make a light go from the right to the left, and then back to the right where it started out at. And then I proceeded to make a giant, I call it a worm, that goes across the screen and come back. I don't even know why I'm calling it a screen. It's just LEDs. But there are a few problems I ran into. One of them being you'll see two lights come from the right to the left. Now, you won't always see that. In fact, I don't even think it could be when I reset it. Because, see, there's two bits that came there. But I know how to reset the correct way. Now it's going to just, nope. Now it's just one. So basically there's a carry bit somewhere in that CPU. And it seems like even resetting the CPU, it retains that carry bit. So I got to figure out if that is actually what's happening. I'm not sure. And then the other thing is the way that I wrote the program, the LED seems to kind of hang before it comes back from the left, and it hangs on the right for a brief moment as well. So basically what's happening is there are two times that I'm telling the CPU to send a command to light up the same exact LED. So it's a simple thing to fix, not a big issue. But I've been expanding upon the assembly language that I know about, learning a little bit more from Ben, and then to get this up and working took learning a little bit more. So I bought this book. I bought both these books off of eBay a while back. $14.95 back in the day was really expensive when you think of inflation. This came from 1980 of when it was published. But even though it says machine language for beginners, it's actually just full of assembly. So machine language is mainly just ones and zeros, or usually entered by hex codes. But this is all assembly. It's much easier to understand. I've been converting back and forth between assembly and a hex dump of a file and verifying each individual byte written to the file is what I expect when I'm writing to assembly. So I've been having to do a lot of extra work to make sure what I'm doing is resulting in what I expect. I did get this other book to help me understand what components are in the Atari, how to locate them, how to write to them. Mainly because I might want to expand upon this later, start adding more functionality, and knowing what other systems used back in the day could give me an idea of how to expand upon it in a more appropriate way, things that I may not be thinking of. I do have a memory not a memory module. Actually, I do have RAM that I have to hook up, and I do have a LCD display. I was going to change this program to use a variable to count 8 times to shift that light 8 times. But then I realized I don't have anywhere to store that value. I don't have memory to say, okay, I counted to 1. Oh, now that value is 2. So I do have to hook this up. I'm waiting for that before I can do that. But I was starting to look at the pinout for the LCD screen, and I was thinking, well, I do have the ability to see the bits coming across from that port. I might actually be able to manually control this screen, and I just have to figure out how to wire up the correct addresses. I think I can use that NAND gate here so that I can reserve address just for this guy to respond on. But it is getting late at night. I do have to go to sleep, so I've got people coming over tomorrow, so that's always going to be fun. So yeah, fun night, having fun.